Hello my fellow friends, today we have one story, please enjoy listening to it. Title: My ex-boyfriend found out the truth behind my cheating. When I, 34F, was 14, I finally got my life back on track after a rough childhood. I lost my dad, was bullied at school, and had some really tough years. But I changed schools, met a great group of friends, and started dating my first boyfriend, Tomas, 34M now. I was really happy, felt like I had finally found my place. I was doing well in school, had a job, and every couple of weekends, my friends and I would go to the coast or the capital city to see our favorite national rock bands. It was the coolest thing to do back then in Argentina. We loved doing pogo, pushing to the front, screaming the lyrics, etc. It might not seem important, but it is. When I was 16, my friends and I went to the capital to see one of our favorite bands, Caballeros, at a place called Cramanon. That night, the biggest tragedy in rock history happened. There were many victims and many injuries. I got hurt and still have a big scar on my thigh. 2 of my closest friends died that night. It was a huge mess. I can never fully explain what I felt. I started going out every weekend, getting drunk, and avoiding talking about it. I would leave the room if anyone mentioned it, pretending everything was fine. In case you're wondering, getting alcohol as a minor in Latin America is not hard, especially in a small town. Plus, in my town, we also go out on Thursdays, and we usually leave clubs around 6 a.m. On Fridays, I would show up drunk at school, but it was so common that no one noticed. Tomas was there, supporting me through everything, trying to make me smile every day, trying to get me to open up but not pushing too much, hugging me when I needed it. Our relationship grew stronger despite my dark spiral. When we graduated, we moved to the same city to continue studying, and I decided it was time to cut the nonsense. I got a part-time job, worked hard to get good grades, made new friends, and stopped partying so much. I thought I was fine, or at least tried to convince myself I was. But over time, I realized I wasn't. Around age 20, I started drinking again. I hated myself, felt miserable, had nightmares about that night, and felt worse because I thought I was being ungrateful for surviving. Mental health wasn't much talked about then. Therapy was taboo. During this time, I started treating Tomas badly. I never hit him, but I would often yell at him or call him names when he was just trying to help. I kept pushing him away, feeling he deserved better than me. Tomas was always an angel, and it didn't make sense why he was still supporting me. When he found me passed out from drinking, he would take care of me, clean my apartment, cook for me. It made me feel worse. I had a great man and was treating him like crap. He deserved better. I tried to tell him we needed to break up, but he refused, saying he would stick by me no matter what. But I only got worse, and I felt like I was dragging him down with me. I couldn't stand that idea. So, after much thought, I made a choice. I did the only thing I knew he wouldn't forgive. I told him I cheated on him with a coworker he was jealous of. He was heartbroken, of course, but I knew it was necessary. He was better off without me. Anyway, he left. I didn't see him again. I didn't call or search for him, even though I wanted to. After graduation, I got a full-time job and got tired of feeling miserable. My mom connected me with other survivors, many of whom had serious mental health issues or had attempted suicide. They convinced me to start therapy. I stopped drinking for good. It was hard to face reality, but worth it. Many nights, I stared at my phone, wanting to call Tomas, to tell him I had lied, to apologize and thank him. He called a few times, left voicemails while drunk, saying he loved me and asking how I could do that to him. I forced myself not to answer. With time, his calls stopped. I got better, started dating again, eventually got married, and had a daughter. Life improved, but my husband ended up cheating on me. Karma, I know. We divorced, I bought my own house, and got primary custody of our daughter. She has been the light of my life, and for her, I would never let myself fall into that depression again. I am happier than ever. 5 months ago, Tomas found me on Instagram and sent me a DM. We started chatting, catching up on life. He also has a child, a 5-year-old son, but he's not with the mother. It was a one-night thing, and they co-parent well. He has his son 2 weeks a month. We started meeting up again, first as friends, then hooking up. We went on dates but never talked about the cheating. Finally, I confessed my feelings for him were back. Tomas said he felt the same but wasn't sure about starting anything with someone who had cheated. That's when I told him the truth. I lied about cheating to push him away because I didn't want to drag him down with me. Tomas was shocked and upset. He called later, saying I shouldn't have lied about cheating, that I should have just told him I didn't want to be with him. I explained my side again, that I would rather he think badly of me and move on than drag him into my dark hole. He said he was an adult who could make his own choices and just wanted to be there for me. I told him I didn't regret what I did but apologized for hurting him. We haven't talked since. He called me yesterday, but I didn't pick up. I'm still processing everything. Despite everything, I believed I had done him a favor by lying. It hurt him, but it was for the best. I wasn't fit to be in a relationship. I honestly don't know. I do know it wasn't the best way, but I had no strength to reject him. I knew he would convince me to let him stay despite everything. Update. To clarify, everything I wrote about the Cramanon tragedy was just for context. It was over 19 years ago. I only included it to explain where I was, how my mind worked, and how I was feeling. I would never come to Reddit for advice about something like that. Be serious, for the love of God. This is for all the people who acted like psychiatrists and psychologists and tried to diagnose me based on a Reddit post. Even if well-intentioned, that's dangerous and irresponsible. I don't have PTSD. I sought professional help after graduating from university 13 years ago. I saw psychiatrists and psychologists and was never diagnosed with PTSD. I had depression and anxiety. I could never fully explain the pain I felt after the tragedy, and it only got worse because I didn't seek help right away. It took a lot of work, but years of therapy and support from friends and family finally helped me get back to my old self. Not entirely, but enough to feel like myself again. For those who called me toxic, I guess I was at one point. But others were never the problem. I was so self-destructive back then that I thought pushing everyone away was best. But that was a long time ago, and I'm not like that anymore. I wouldn't be so irresponsible as to get into another relationship, get married, and have a child if I hadn't changed. When Tomas and I started dating again, it was like the early years of our relationship, healthy, fun, and full of love. It wasn't like the last year of our relationship, which was the worst year of my life. I've talked about it in therapy for years and put it behind me long ago. Now, it's just something that marked me but is in my past. It left me with many problems, but I survived and am thankful for that. Now, to the point. Tomas and I met up on Saturday, and things went well. We had a long talk, discussing everything. He opened up about how hurt he felt, how awful the months after our breakup were, and how he felt I was making the choice for him. I told him I wasn't only doing it for him but also for myself. I couldn't be in a relationship back then. How could I? Traumatized for whatever reason, I was so self-destructive and not nice to be around. I also told him that he might have wanted to stay, but I didn't want him to. I reminded him that I tried to break up with him many times, and he wouldn't listen to my reasons. He apologized, but he also explained how he loved me more than anything and couldn't leave in that situation. Even after he thought I had cheated, he was scared I would try to kill myself. Every time there was news about a Cramanon survivor who had killed themselves, he freaked out, thinking it was me. I told him I loved him so much back then and now, but it wasn't healthy to maintain a relationship. It was toxic and wouldn't have helped either of us. We apologized to each other, and I clarified that I want to leave all of this behind and just be us, to finally put this in the past. He agreed. We cried, but they were tears of happiness. I hadn't been so happy in a while. Deep down, this was what I always wanted since we broke up. To be okay again and to be like we used to be. I guess I never stopped loving him, and he never stopped loving me. I always wondered where he was or if he was okay, wondered what would have happened if things had been different. But now I don't have to wonder anymore because we're together again, and that's all that matters. One step at a time.